Well, hi everyone. And it's been a long time since we last were here because we've been under a ban, but now that ban has been lifted, so we are back in business. And a lot of stuff has been going on, and I would have loved to live stream so many different events for you guys, but unfortunately I was unable to do so. But uh, we mostly focused on our Finnish channel for this autumn. Would you like to say something about what we've been up to?
Mm, well, tomorrow we are on Red Eyes, and
Yeah, I have my very special Red Eyes uh, TV shirt on for that.
this week we were on Millennial Woes is Millennial episode 66, I think. You can check that video on his channel. It was quite interesting. It was very short because we wanted to have a hangout with Millennial, and they took 2.5 hours, whereas we got 40 minutes.
And I don't understand where Rose gets all the energy to do what he does. That V live stream on its own, it was so exhausting, as he said. It was so difficult to even listen to. And after that, he did another one, and it was around 5 a.m. In here when he ended the live stream with V, and that's when we ran out of energy and went to bed, and we missed the last live stream for that night.
Yeah, it's well, other stuff, as Swan said, we have been live streaming on her Finnish channel. Many different events. I think the last episode on this channel was with Tundra Tabloids. Okay, there was a Swede speaks that put 100 Swedish krona with the message "I missed you guys." We will read all the super chat messages. Since we have a Swede listening, I have to share this piece of news with you. Well, there have been, I mean, Donald Trump once said that, did you see what happened last night in Sweden? Well, here is the Swedish state TV from Skåne, which is the region in the south of Sweden. It's at the border with Denmark. So there's Malmö, and Copenhagen is like a twin city to it. And here are the two most read news today. There was this police car was blown up, and then there's a woman got gang raped by several men in Malmö. And well, it's funny because this is the fourth gang rape in that city in a very short period of time, and the police in Sweden, they are so inefficient that they just cannot do anything. I mean,
And
they
even
cannot.
if they find the guys, they'll end up just releasing them, like they did with that nightmarishly horrible rape in Botkyrka.
Yeah,
A woman was gang raped there and beaten up really badly. She was dragged to some stairway by a group of these, I don't know, Middle Eastern, African, well, anyway, some guys from the developing world. And she was traumatized so badly that she was in some sort of a psychosis for six months after the attack. And a year and a half after the attack, they finally got some of the assailants to a courthouse, but the court ended up releasing them. So there have been some demonstrations about that, of course, even though there was like DNA evidence and everything, they still just let the guys walk.
Yeah, so well, that police car accident was even in the news in Finland, and people are now it's going too far, and so how it's a normal day in Sweden. The youth are just doing some small
Isolated events.
what would be the word for kepponen? They're
Prank.
they're doing some small pranks. Boys will be boys and so on. But it's really horrible to, well, at this point, you just, the only way to react to this nonsense is to laugh at it, because it's well, whatever you say, it's racist. And in the same time, if a Swede says a wrong word, it's like another show. In the live section, there's this guy who says, "I watched V with Millennial Woes and I wanted to gas him throughout the whole show." And V embarrassed himself and so on.
Yeah, I was feeling embarrassed for him because his argumenting was so terrible. And it was like non-stop. He didn't listen to anything that was said to him. He made all these needless extrapolations and assumptions of the things Woe said, and ended up basically arguing against strawmen for most of that show. So it was pretty unbearable to listen to.
We have 88 viewers.
88, of course.
16 bomb attacks in Sweden last month. It's every second day only. There are some days that are bomb-free, that means. But yeah, Millennial Woes, he did a very good job this December with his series Millennial, and very interesting. I didn't watch every one of them, but it was good to have so many guests, and of course, yeah, it's hard to have 4 live streams per day, and with so different. The worst was the Antifa professor.
Yeah, with the nail polish and the eyeliner.
He was very. I was commenting it live, and I was very. He's really unbearable because, well, some people call him a human, but I don't think he is.
The worst giraffe ever.
Yeah, there's one guy saying thumbs up. Yeah, we have 2 at this point. This is an inside joke. In Finland, there's a forum called Punk in Finland, which is the worst ever. They are basically communists.
It's basically like the meeting place for the most retarded Antifa and communists, and well, the bottom of the barrel. You can imagine these basically meth-blowing Antifa.
And there's also Antifa professors of our own that are there. They don't have so long necks, but they are professors, and they have this alliance with this scum of the earth, and they come to our channels and try to troll, but they fail every time miserably, and they hit the dislike button. And so we have this fight that, yeah, at this point we have 2 guys that have disliked this video. In fact, one had disliked it even before we had started. In the meantime, Scott McLean put $5 Canadian with the message, "Maybe now that the Worskis have woken up, they'd be more willing to consider you guys on. Welcome back to the English side. Was wondering what happened." Yeah, Andy Worski has very nice videos, and I haven't so much followed the Kraut and Tea and thing on there. I know that there's been lots of guests on the Worski live show, and yeah, it could be funny to be on his show also, to chat. I don't know what we would say. We talked about this the last time we were on.
But maybe we should back up for a moment to explain how we ended up on Millennial.
Yeah.
And that, of course, is because in October, Millennial Woes and we were at the same event in Netherlands. So this Dutch group called Erkenbrand held a nationalist conference called
Towards a New Golden Age.
Towards a New Golden Age, yeah. And because nobody else was going from Finland, Younes, I, and a couple of friends decided that we would go there and see what's going on, get an amazing amount of points from the nationalist scene by meeting Jared Taylor and Millennial Woes. And so we drove through the Scandinavian countries and Germany and went to Rotterdam, and everything really went better than expected, because all these people were warning us beforehand that, okay, these Dutch nationalists, that they don't really take well to outsiders, and they can be pretty rude to people they don't know. And we were wondering how they would greet us there. But actually everyone was so nice. They were just amazingly well-hearted people, and they were so approachable. And they asked us, okay, where are coming from? We explained Finland, and they were just genuinely excited about us coming there. And then on the first day of that, or first night of that weekend, on Friday night, there was a VIP event, and Millennial Woes and Jared Taylor were going to be there, so of course we went too. And there we talked to some of the local guys about maybe finding another housing other than hotel for the next night after the conference, so that we might be able to save some money. And this one local man came to talk to me and said, okay, I could have a room for you, and if you don't mind that Mr. Taylor and Millennial Woes will be there. And I wasn't really sure I understood him correctly, because I was a bit drunk at that moment. I was so nervous, I started drinking a bit too much. And the guy had a bit of a heavy accent. And then I went to the guys and I told them, okay, there's this guy who says he might be able to house us, but maybe you would want to check that, double check that, because I'm not sure I got it right, because it sounds like he's saying that Mr. Taylor is staying there too. And then the guys talked to him, and it turned out, yeah, he was the guy housing Millennial Woes and Jared Taylor for the night. And of course we said yes to his offer. And after the conference night, we had the privilege to even hang out with Millennial Woes a bit. And on the next morning it was a bit surreal, because on something like 10 a.m. I woke up to hear some noises coming from downstairs, and I realized, okay, that's Jared Taylor, the white man. He's downstairs. And yeah, it was pretty cool. And the conference was really interesting. It's in its own. The speeches were really nice, and it was also well organized. And we should definitely do something like that in Finland too. And we are actually planning to do. We are planning to invite those same main guests, Woes and Jared Taylor, over here in Finland this winter.
Yeah, the first time we met Millennial Woes was in February at the Identitarian Ideas Conference in Stockholm. At that point, we did not talk to him, but yeah, we met him again in the Netherlands now in October, and there we got to talk with him more. And as we stayed in the same place for the night, we discussed about the millennial series, and we said, yeah, we can be on your show, and that's how we did. I think it was a good thing that we went to the Netherlands, because nobody else was live streaming the event, because Red Eyes had technical difficulties, and I still haven't seen if they have any recorded material from that conference, but the last time I checked, they did not have. And we met the Red Eyes crew, Henrik and Lana, in Stockholm, and in February, and now will be tomorrow. In 24 hours, we'll be on their show. And
yeah, if I understood correctly, they are holding some sort of a longer live event throughout the night, and they will have a lot of guests popping in and out.
Yeah, so we should be between 5:15 and 6:15 p.m. Eastern time. That's around midnight Finnish time.
Yeah, and the Lana and Henrik appearance on Millennial, it was fun too, with the baby and everything.
Yeah.
The far right Star Child. And
well, there's one that asked a few minutes ago that, do you know Ken at Tundra Tabloids? Well, we
actually have a live stream with him on this channel too, I think so. Isn't it on this channel?
It is. In September, we talked with him on. Well, I have met him in person also, but you can see the interview or the hangout on this channel. It's September, and well,
yeah, Ken is a good guy. He's more on the civic nationalism side, but I don't mind that at all when it comes to him. His blog is very, very based.
Yeah, and well, we have the same nickname SK, that is enraged. She has, or he has, or she has.
She. I know.
I don't know how you say someraivo in English.
Social media outrage, I think.
Yeah, she's very outraged about things. And so the Erkenbrand conference in Holland went very well. And so we... And also, yeah, the Jared Taylor speech at in Holland, he sent me the speech in written form, and we promised to subtitle it in Finnish. We almost have started that task. It's been only two months, so we'll shortly be doing that. And so also the idea that we should host a similar conference in Finland. Yeah, why not? In February this year, in Estonia, there will be something like last year, and we might go there. But I don't know. Conferences in Finland, maybe it's better to hold them in the summer, because if you're a tourist from abroad, it's I'd say it's not so interesting to come here. It's all the time dark, cannot see anything.
Yeah, over here the night lasts around 20 hours now, and we are not even in Lapland.
Yeah, so okay. Well, after the Erkenbrand conference, well, we have been doing various stuff. There was 1 week after that in Finland. There was in Tampere, in southern Finland, there was a protest against the banning of a National Socialist organization, and we went there to film that. It's
Yeah, and it wasn't even a week after when we got back from Netherlands. We got to be like 2 days home when we came from Netherlands, and we even decided, okay, we're not going to take any trips for a while now because we have barely been home this entire fall. And then we hear that okay, Nordfront is having a demo in Tampere, and we were like, okay, it might be interesting, but we just came from the south and it would be such a drag to drive like 6 or 7 hours back. And then what like closed our decision on going there was when the local anti-fans said that they would be there for a counter demonstration, and it was called Death to Fascism. And it sounded so interesting that they were going to bash the fash, and I just wanted to see these like 40-kilo soy boys try to take on Nordfront. So then we decided, okay, we will definitely be going there.
Yeah, in the beginning there were the left-wing party had announced that they would have a counter protest, and then there was another counter protest that was by the Antifa, but and they were like death to Nazis and so on, and we wanted to film that, and it turned out that it was, well, sort of violent because they threw some small explosives, and well, and maybe 3 minutes after my live stream had started, they tried to push me under a car, and they broke my camera, and but other than that, they were very peaceful, and also if you do not count the explosives and throwing I don't know, beer cans and shouting like maniacs. Well, it was peaceful, but yeah, it was interesting. The original protest was against the banning of the National Socialist organization.
So it wasn't basically a National Socialist demo, like a demo for National Socialism. It was a demo for free speech against government banning their organization just because they are accused to be racist.
Yeah, there is absolutely no reason to ban that organization. If they want to ban, well, they should start with the Antifa and many other organizations. But yeah, they did ban that organization, and it is not even a registered one. So what's the point? It doesn't solve anything. It just pisses people off, and it creates more tension.
And it's just so naive from the part of the leftists that this is their solution to everything. Ban it, shut it down, as if you can like stop National Socialism or people from being Nazis by attacking one organization. It only got Nordfront so much more publicity, and their demo on Independence Day, then on December, the next month, was much bigger than the last year's one. Like the last year, they had maybe like 200 people on the Nordfront demo, and now they had, I don't know, 450, 550. So they over doubled their demo show up because of this publicity. And I wasn't a part of that demo. I was live streaming it from the side, but I spotted a lot of familiar faces who I knew personally not to be Nordfront members or National Socialists to begin with. So there were a lot of people who clearly came to just show their support for the free speech of these people.
Yeah, on the Independence Day, there were many different marches. Well, here's the biggest one. The problem, or the main problem, was that I got jailed at that event.
Again.
Yeah, it's the second. I'm not sure if we talked about the August event, but in August there was a.
Yeah, I don't you remember? It was among my sandbox videos and
Okay.
everything.
Yeah, so
Arrested for filming an Antifa rally.
yeah, okay, and so this time the same thing happened. I was filming the left wing demo at 2-3 p.m. and well, for some reason the police arrested me and they held me in jail for 11 hours. And so I missed all the events that I had come here for. I'm also, of course, I'm filing a complaint against the police. I have pointed many times out that the police, they are our enemies. They are not with us. There is absolutely no reason that they had to put me in jail for 11 hours. I did nothing wrong. I was just walking in the street, and I was walking from the leftist demo to the National Socialist demo to film it. So I was like minding my own business, and
Like in no way interfering with the leftist demo. And actually, the leftist march, it turned from a street corner, and we kept moving forward because we specifically wanted to avoid them so that we could get to the nude front demo in time to live stream it. And then I suddenly noticed that, okay, there are a couple of cops behind me and it looks as if they are following us. And I just got to run to Younes and I told him, and you can hear it on our live stream, that I say, I think those cops are following us. And immediately after I say that, 2 cop cars pull up right next to us, and a group of cops in riot gear show up and they just take Younes away, and we were all just baffled at what's going on. Why are they arresting him? We were just walking on the street doing absolutely nothing. And later on, the cops made the excuse that, okay, he wasn't sticking to the demo location he was ordered to stay in. And he was, first of all, he wasn't a demo. Him and his friends, we were just all there to live stream the leftist event. We went there to counter protest it.
Yeah, so here's the stream. I will not play it. I will just show some still pictures. So here it's at 1 hour 10. That's the Antifa left-wing scum that is marching. You can clearly see the Antifa logos, and so I'm filming it, and I skip here 3 minutes later, and where is it? So here they turned behind that tram. Let me go back a bit. So here they turn to that road, and I go here to the left. And when I'm walking away from those idiots, I'm going the other way around. I'm not. There is no demo here, and so here the police come and arrest me. They say I'm causing trouble, and yes, so there were these are riot police that came to arrest me. I didn't do anything, and those are our enemies.
Yeah, it was really arbitrary that it was difficult to grasp in that moment, like, what are these guys doing? Why are they taking him away? And they could have, if their excuse for arresting you, their false belief that you were somehow out to get the leftist march, that you would alone go there and start fucking with these 2,000 anarchists. And you would be the nuisance there, like you would be the troublemaker, of course. If it held any water, like, wouldn't they just have asked us, where are you going? Like, wouldn't they have wondered a bit, okay, if these guys are out to provoke the leftists, why are they not turning the same street corner as them? Why are they walking the other direction? Like, they could have just asked, and we could have just told them the same thing that can be heard on our live stream, that we were simply going to film the Nude Front event at a completely different location, and they would have been done with that. But so, no,
fuck the police.
But maybe you shouldn't have talked about the previous Helsinki Cup so meanly on our live streams. Maybe they wouldn't have arrested you this time if you didn't call the last cup arresting you an ADHD midget retard faggot. What was it?
They are offended. It's not my fault. They can file a complaint. What they cannot do is arrest me for no reason.
And for some anti-fans, they had done even worse. Like, there's this one pretty well-known Antifa guy called Jari Laine, who has been a known troublemaker in these nationalist events on Independence Day. In last year's Independence, he punched a Swedish neo-Nazi. So he first infiltrated the Nude Front march, then just randomly started punching people in there. And now the cops didn't give him a chance. They had showed up at his house by noon and just taken him from there. And the event started late in the afternoon, early evening. So they just took him from his home in good time and had released him around the same time they released you at 2 a.m. The next night or something. And yeah, I get it that the cops want to avoid trouble, because this Antifa guy is, as I said, a well-known troublemaker. He has been known to start fights and commit violence, but still, I don't think it's right to preemptively arrest anyone.
It's completely illegal.
Yeah, if you haven't done anything, then you shouldn't be arrested. And I actually checked what the guy had talked about his Independence Day plans on their anarchist forum, because the cops
communist forum,
because the cops said that they had some information that this guy might be planning something, and it came off that it would be from a forum discussion. And actually, he only once joked that, you need violence for Independence Day, or that on Independence Day we do violence. But in all of his messages that were written in any serious tone, he was simply saying that he would stay at home with his family, that he wouldn't be coming to Helsinki Central at all during Independence Day. So, but this is how the cops are like. They like to claim that they just want to do preemptive actions, and they want to minimize all the harms that are done to people and their rights. But I don't see a minimal harm in going to one person's home and picking him up from there, because there is a hypothetical possibility that he might do something that day, or arresting you for simply walking on the street because there is a chance that the Antifa might beat you up.
Complete retards, these guys, and breaking our human rights. What if the other guy that was taken? What if he had plans to, if he had a plane ticket to go to somewhere or whatever? They would just come to his home and arrest him for just being home. That's complete nonsense. And they talk all the time about the human rights. Any asylum seeker can walk into this country without any papers, and they cannot be stopped. They cannot be detained or anything. They just have to be left free because freedom of movement. But when you are Finn, that doesn't apply to you. It applies only to these whatever they are, and that's fuck the police. They are not of any use to us. It would the Independence Day would be much better without them. The few Antifa that would come and fight, they would be put down easily, and that's it. They wouldn't. It would be much more peaceful on the streets without these police officers that are completely useless to any normal person.
Yeah, and then when I was live streaming the events with some friends, because Junes was arrested, there were the Nude Front demo, then there was the 612 Torchlit March, and was there anything else? No, I don't think.
There was the alpaca event.
Yeah, but I didn't go there.
Yeah, but yeah.
But anyway, during the entire night, when people recognized me in the nationalist events, they came to me joking, "Okay, has Junes already been arrested?" I was like, "Yeah," and people are like, "What? Like seriously?" Yeah. Like, they were jokingly saying that, and that's how it went down.
Yeah.
But the alpacas, maybe we should talk about the alpacas. It was an interesting
There was
situation.
a really retarded thing that went on before the Independence Day. So there's this one square in Helsinki from which this march, the biggest march, begins. It's been the same place for 4 years now, and like 3 weeks before the Independence Day, there was one organization that came out in public and said that, yeah, we will be organizing a children's event. We will be having alpacas, the fucking animal from South America, like llamas, and yeah, we will be having music and fun stuff for the family. So then, a few days before the Independence Day, they came back and they said, "Oh, there's a neo-Nazi event. We were pushed. The city, Helsinki city, just banned us from coming there, and we are so oppressed, and
yeah, and
nobody thinks of the children, and the neo-Nazis are in charge and whatever."
And of course, the media completely ate it up. That they took it without any criticism from these known anti-racist and even anarchist activists, when they said that, okay, we were just planning a nice children's event with bunnies and alpacas and things like that, and we had no idea that this is the place where usually the 612 torch procession starts from, even though they admitted that they were local people from the same neighborhood. So yeah, they will know that the largest nationalist event is taking place or starting from that square every year. So it was clearly an act of sabotage, and just the organizers were evidence for that. The main organizer had held many very big anti-racist events in Helsinki earlier, and there were known anarchists who were announcing that they would be there on social media. And usually these same anarchists like to spend their Independence Days by throwing bottles and rocks at nationalists. So why would they be showing up to this family event with alpacas? Of course, it was a ruse. Like they were planning to either smoke the 612 event out by trying to get the police to relocate our demo or procession, and that way they would be able to sabotage and derail our event, and it would be a sort of victory for them. And when the cops refuse to do that, because there is the law, and the law is very simple: the person or the group who has booked the location the earliest has the dips on it. And if there is a tradition that some event is traditionally held in certain location, then that event is the prioritized one. So no matter how you look at it from the perspective of the law, the alpaca people had no business being on that square. It was booked by the nationalist event, and they were just trying to like smoke us out using this completely critique-free media attention they got.
Yeah, so when they whined in on Twitter about this, there was a hockey team, something that offered them. They said that, okay, we want to help you. You can come to our football stadium, which is half a mile from the original square. And their answer was, "Oh, we will think about it." And well, finally they went, or eventually they went there. But then after the event, they said that 5,000 were attending the event. And well, here's the picture of the event.
Yeah,
There's almost 5,000. They have whined about they were not all at the same time. The event lasted for 2.5 hours. So blah blah. Get the fuck out there. There's nobody went to that event, and the media still was on their side for some bizarre reason. But then after the event on, I think it was the 8th, a DJ wrote a blog in which he posted some screenshot from the hidden or secret Facebook group, which proved that the reason for this children's event was to fuck with the nationalists.
yeah, and I was almost sure they would get away with this, the leftists, because the media hadn't been asking them any critical questions. They went asking, okay, how didn't you know there was a nationalist event on the same square? Why are there known anarchists coming to your event? Why did you decide to put this event together so late? Like they announced their event like a few days before Independence Day. So it was clearly just a ruse. They went out to plan a children's event. They were just out to derail the 612 torch procession. And of course, when the nationalists said that, yeah, this is a ruse, this has nothing to do with organizing a nice children's event, they are simply people who are morally low enough to use like children and furry animals as like a cover up and this sort of human shield for their little conniving event. And
And so we got in touch with the DJ and we asked him for a live stream. This was the 14th of December, and that's the the guy. It's on a Swan's Finnish channel. It's hashtag alpacagate and red green lies featuring the guy's name. And so it went. Well, it's funny. The guy is a leftist, but he said that I cannot I cannot stand this bullshit that is coming from our side. And we had an interesting talk with him.
Yeah, he simply got sick of the lying. That he said that he doesn't mind it if these people are there to protest against the nationalists, but they should do it with like open intentions. That there should be no hidden motives, and they shouldn't be hiding behind kids and alpacas. But just do what they do openly instead of lying to the media and lying to basically everyone. And and if this guy, this like young leftist guy, hadn't come out writing that blog post in which he posted the screenshots of the discussion that proved beyond a doubt that this alpaca event was staged from the beginning to just derail the 612 torch procession, these guys would have gotten away with it. Like the media sure as hell wouldn't have blown the whistle on this. And so this guy saved our case on this one.
Yeah, but still, after all these proofs, there are still people that are not convinced, and well, they are lost cases. We cannot do any more on that. But and also when this guy was on our stream, we collected some super chat money and we gave all the money to him, and well, he was surprised for that. And well,
yeah, and you definitely have to hand it to this guy. Like, this is a young guy, a leftist, who knows full well what will come if he blows the whistle on his friends.
Yeah, no,
that he will never have friends on the left again. And then he comes to our live stream, like the two of the most hated far righters in the country. So after that, he will definitely have no friends on the left, because they immediately attacked him first for the blowing the whistle on the alpaca thing, and then for showing up on our live stream. And then they started even saying that he was a far right mole all along, and that you and him had planned the whole thing from the get-go. And how were you supposed to plan this? Like, you had this 20-something dude, and you planted him into that Facebook group because you just knew they would plan some sort of an alpaca thing in there, and you had your, like, this secret cell in that group just waiting for the right moment.
Yeah, those leftists and their conspiracy theories, I don't know, they should get some treatment for that. I don't know. Yeah, what else could be said on that event? Well, nothing. It just proved once again that the media is a complete fake news. There were many articles saying that, yeah, the far right they are crazy, they are paranoid, they are whatever. Why would you suspect that this children's event was scheduled just to annoy you? You must be paranoid. No. It is true that in the first time I heard about this children's event, I said, yeah, maybe it's legit. That okay, there will be some event on the same square as the nationalist torch march, but when the thing went on, we noticed that, yeah, this is just some bullshit, and they are trying the same for next year, but we already know that they will fail. And it's funny because the square has already been reserved. There's a reservation for the nationalist organization, but still there are some Green Party idiots that have created a Facebook event already now, and they are planning for next year. And one funny thing on that Facebook event was that the Facebook that event was moderated. So if you wanted to post something on that event page, you had to, the moderator had to accept it.
Yeah, and it was funny because their event was called something like Happy and Open Independence Day event. And it was supposed to be free from all sorts of political extremes. And they apparently think that they can get away with the same shit again, that even the media won't fall for it the second time. If they try to organize something to the same square again, nobody will fall for it.
There's Daniel Behm who put $5 with the message FTP. What file transfer protocol? I don't know.
I don't know.
And so do you remember what was the first post that was on that page?
Yeah, on the leftist organized Happy Open Independence Day event, the first post was what was the ISIS composer's name?
I don't know the composer, but
was it Al-Sawari or something?
Maybe, I don't know, but it was well, it was an ISIS song.
Yeah.
And yeah, I have some screenshot of it.
Yes, it's Salil Sawarim. The song ISIS theme song was the first post made on that leftist Facebook page, and it was pre-moderated. Yeah. And the ISIS theme song was posted there by someone with a Muslim-sounding name and a bit of a Muslim-looking profile picture, but it was clear trolling. That they just threw that ISIS song in there, that, okay, you're having this nice leftist event with no political extremism, so let's try this one. And the anti-racist activist who was moderating the forum immediately let it through. So she just let the guy post ISIS propaganda on their Happy Open Independence Day event page.
So sad.
And the very next post from the same guy who published the ISIS theme song on that page was this Pepe with the rainbow flashing background.
Yeah, so FTP means fuck the police.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so these left-green guys are complete idiots. There's nothing new to that, but I found that was epic to let such how ignorant are these idiots. And anyways, their stupid event will not be organized. They can organize them wherever they want, but yeah, fuck them. They have I don't know. It seems that they have no life. That must be the main problem with them. There have been anti-racist activists, left-green politicians, and they cannot recognize an ISIS song. I don't know. You had one job, but well, is there anything more on the Independence Day? I don't know. Well, it's been about an hour. We could maybe mention the presidential election.
Yeah, let's say something about that, because some people have been asking about the presidential election of Finland on Twitter, and somebody asked me on, I don't know, I think it was in Millennial Vo's comment section, something about the Finnish election. So the person who is the most talked about or most asked about from me is, of course, Laura Huhtasaari, who is the Finns Party candidate. And she, of course, is the person who we will be voting for. So Here is her campaign page, and it is said a lot that she has a similar style to, say, Marine Le Pen. So she's a hardline nationalist, and she's very openly and straightforwardly campaigning on that. So her slogans, most of them have something to do with nationalism, like "Let's take Finland back," "Papers, please," with a photo of her and her dog standing on the border.
But she, well, there's no English page. That's racist, I think.
But here she is, and I think she really is a stand-up woman, and I don't, of course, agree with her about everything. There's not, I don't think there's single politician who I would agree with everything about, but she is pretty perfect nationalist candidate, and I think she appeals to all the right demographics. That she doesn't have that harsh image some nationalists have. That especially male nationalists tend to have this really harsh image that doesn't. Okay, so we got $10 from Iposol saying I love Swan even if she has a friend. Okay.
You should have 0 friends.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not friends with you anymore. He gave $10, so
Yeah.
you're out.
And so here are the other candidates. Yeah, thanks, bye.
Yeah.
So there's 8 candidates. Number in Finland, you vote by writing a number on a piece of paper, and so the one we will be voting for is number 5. And if you have the Finnish citizenship and you live abroad, be sure to use your vote.
Yeah, and I was what I was saying about Laura is that I think she has the right image for a nationalist candidate. That she doesn't appear to be just some angry male who hates foreign men, but she's a wife, a mother. She's very well spoken. She smiles a lot. So it's very difficult to imagine her as being the hateful Nazi. So she has the right image, and she speaks to a lot of demographics. I bet, for example, elderly people will like her. And of course, there are a lot of young right-wingers who like her, even though she isn't economically right-wing at all. She's actually an economically leftist, but it's enough that she's a nationalist, and it's enough for me too. Like, I don't, and a lot of people have been on the left have been trying to play her religious beliefs against her because she's a creationist. And for Americans, this may sound weird because in America, in a lot of places, it's basically required to be a creationist to even stand a chance at any election. But over here in Finland, it's the other way around. Creationism is so rare that you easily get mocked for it. And the leftist media has been trying to get the most out of the creationism card, so that they are talking about it so much that nobody really gives a shit anymore. It used to make news that she was a creationist when it first came out a few years ago, but nobody really cares now because it's her personal belief. She isn't a supporter of teaching intelligent design in schools, and it's simply her faith. It has nothing to do with how she would run the presidency. So why should we care? Younes and I are both atheists, and we don't give a shit. So why should anyone else?
Yeah. So number 2 is from the left-wing party. She's basically a communist. She's an MEP, which means she's a member of the European Parliament. She's completely useless.
Yeah, just look at her. Her face says it all.
Number 3 is the Green Party's. The guy is well. The first thing that comes to mind is that he's gay and his boyfriend is from Colombia or some other.
Yeah, he's basically riding on that entire homosexuality thing that people vote him the same way they voted for Obama, that they voted for Obama to signal that they're not racist, and they vote for this guy to signal that they're not homophobic. And it's amazing how the double standards are, because like this guy, as June says, he has a very much younger spouse from, was it Chile?
No,
or Ecuador?
Ecuador maybe, yeah.
Yeah, from some developing country anyway. And he met this guy when he was there as a tourist, and the guy was something like 17. And he's 20 years old. So imagine that scenario in a straight setting, that we would have a straight male presidential candidate who would have a spouse from a developing country, picked up from there while the spouse was still a teenager. Everyone would say that's abuse. That is clearly pervy and creepy for a 40-something or 30-something guy to travel to some developing country, pick up a teenage boy from there. Everybody would say that it's creepy as hell. But because this guy is gay, everybody's like, yay, wonderful, wonderful. We're so happy for you.
There was a syndicate that wrote links to meth hoe. And,
the meth hoe, yeah.
The retard is Stark in that one.
Yeah, we won't get into that anymore. Yeah, but that's a sort of a leftist troll we have on our Twitter.
Yeah, we have a big Twitter fight, or not a fight. We get assaulted by a retard that is like writing 400 tweets per day, and they are all for us, and we are not interested in her bullshit, and she's a complete troll and retard, and she doesn't watch our videos, so we can say what we want on this stream. Other stuff on that guy, nothing interesting. He claims, being in the Greens party, he claims to be a human rights activist, and he has been in the UN in some African country trying to get peace, but he has failed so badly that even the UN has fired him.
Yeah, and of course, because he's in the Green Party, he also pretends to be for ecological values too. And the Green Party is a fun bunch when it comes to the eco-friendly side, because they are all like city hipsters who have barely ever crossed foot outside Helsinki. And these people claim to love the Finnish nature, the Finnish forests, and really they just hate it. They can't stand to be anywhere close to it. And to them, the ecological values means basically just recycling your garbage and trying to get an endless amount of taxpayer money thrown at like wind turbines.
Yeah, and it's open borders and all that shit. Number 4, he's so meaningless that we will not talk about him. He's from the Center Party. So.
Completely vanilla in every way. There's just nothing interesting about him to talk about. You can just look at that face.
He should go home and...
Actually, the faces on a lot of these people, they say a lot about these people.
Number 6 is from the Social Democrats. She's a feminist, and she's also completely useless.
Yeah, she, for example, wants Finland to follow the Swedish example in having a feminist foreign policy.
Yeah, Sweden, yes.
Yeah, Sweden, yes, we definitely should do what the Swedes have done. The things are going so amazing for them. Oh my God.
Number 7 is he's the second choice after number 5. He's also for closing the borders, and well, he has sane views on many topics, and he's very experienced in this thing. He's been in politics since the 70s or something, but
Yeah.
So
And-
he's we're not sure because he might be crooked.
Yeah, because this guy, he has a lot of good points, but first of all, I don't think he's completely reliable because he has had some pretty shady movings in politics ever since the 1970s. And people have just forgotten about them, and some people have been so young that they don't even remember to begin with. So some people are really excited about, yeah, we have another nationalist candidate, and no, I don't think you can call him nationalist because you can know whether to trust him, and it might be just something he uses to get votes with. Like he's more focused on being anti-EU and certain other issues. So it might be that the nationalism is simply a horse he's riding. And in other ways too, of course, Laura is a better candidate because she's much more modern. Because I think nationalism should be a modernist movement. It should live with its time in a good way. I don't mean progressivism and changing for the sake of changing, but we should always have a fresh look so that we don't appear outdated. And Laura has that look. Like she's relatively young for a presidential candidate. She's stylish. She's outspoken. She has a sense of humor. She also is in touch with the grassroots level. She has taken part in nationalist demos, and she doesn't punch right. She is very uncompromising in not condemning her more right-wing friends on the grassroots level, and I think that's very respectable. Because during Independence Day events, Laura had sent her regards to one nationalist activist who is a very street-level guy. He just holds these small demos in Helsinki, and he's not a politician or anything. And then the leftist media, of course, tried to attack Laura using him, saying that, okay, he has National Socialist connections and he's extremely far right and extremely xenophobic. So why are you sending your best regards to a guy like this? And Laura was just having none of it. She refused to back down, and she simply said, okay, he's a friend of mine, so I sent him my regards. That's it. Like, I'm not going to start condemning him or apologizing for anything. And I think she stood her ground very well on that, because for her, a presidential candidate, a guy like that, some not that well-known street-level activist, is basically nothing. Like, she doesn't need to pay attention to people like that, or people like us for that matter. But yet she replies to our messages, she likes our tweets, and like she stays in touch with the people who she doesn't need to stay in touch with to succeed on her career. And I think that shows principle.
So number 8 is the current president we have, and it's like Hillary Clinton. I would say that.
Yeah, he's much like Hillary Clinton, actually.
He has, his campaign is costing €1.5 million, which is well, in the US context, it's nothing, but still, it's a lot. And he acts like, or the media portrays him as a popular guy, but in reality, he's backed by the big corporations and so on. So, and he's unclear about any question you ask, he doesn't answer. And also, he's one of the guys that made Finland enter the Eurozone without a referendum, and that means that he broke the constitution, and that's usually seen as a bad thing.
Yeah, he has some shady business behind him, coming from at least the early 1990s. And
he was a banker in Luxembourg when he came back in the 2007, I think. And he's not. Do not vote for him.
What if he's actually a merchant? He even looks a bit like the happy merchant. When I haven't really realized it before, but yeah, look at him. Number 8. He might be. And he is actually, as Jonas said, very much like the sort of candidate Hillary Clinton is, that they are both establishment candidates, very strongly supported by both the establishment and the media, portrayed as some sort of sane mid-ground candidate, and basically riding on this false impression of being close to the average people and not being extremist in any sense, when they are simply corporatists looking out for their own interests.
Yeah. Well, and number 9 is from the Swedish party. His name is Nils Torvalds. I don't know if he's related to Linus Torvalds, but anyways, he used to be a communist or something, and well, who would vote for a Swede? Must be insane. So if you are holding a Finnish passport or know someone near you in the US or wherever you are watching, tell them not to waste their vote, but vote for number 5. It's easy to vote even abroad.
Yeah.
Election day is on January 28th, and I think it's 1 or 2 weeks before you can vote abroad. I'll just check quickly that, and then we can maybe wrap this up, unless you have something more to say.
No, I don't think so. But I actually double checked because I remember that this Swedish party candidate Nils Torvalds is the father of Linus Torvalds, and yes, he indeed is.
But that's no reason to vote for him.
So his son has created the Linux operating system.
Yeah. So abroad you can vote between the 17th and 20th. In Finland, it's that day, and so these 4 days that you can vote, and going to this site, you can find your polling station in any country. Usually there are consulates or embassies and so on. For example, I don't know. Well, there's some guys in Canada, I think, that are watching this. So there's these cities: Montreal and Calgary and Ottawa, Sudbury, Thunder Bay, Toronto, Vancouver. Yeah, those can, if you are Finn abroad and you haven't, you have forgotten about this stuff.
Yeah, but I think that's it for tonight. We didn't really have much of a script. We simply thought we need to do something at least to let you guys know what we've been up to, why we have been away, and that now we are back.
This was my script.
Yeah, we always have these, and it's too bad that only one person can read them. Like I've sometimes posted Jonas's notes on Facebook and let people guess what it says, because nobody can make anything out of his handwriting.
Yeah, but it's racist. Yeah, so tomorrow we'll be on Red Ice. I don't know when they start, but our slot is between 5:15 and 6:15 Eastern time. So that's in Finland. It's 15 past midnight between 1:15 a.m. We'll be around that period. I'll just check their website if there's some announcement about this upcoming live stream. 26 special guests. I don't know if we count for 1 or 2, but so they say that it starts at 4 p.m. Eastern, which is 10 Central European time. Oh, there's even a list. It's written Tina, so that's us. So between 5:15 Eastern will be these 4, and we are 1. So each will be probably given 15 minutes. So I'd say that we are at 5:45 Eastern, and that's well, just go there, redice.tv. There's Ingrid, and there's Millennial also, and there's Richard Spencer, there's Jared Taylor, there's Styx, and it's hosted by the 2.
Yeah, they have a pretty great lineup.
And yeah, so the only thing I'm not sure is, will this be on YouTube, or will it be on their own? Well, it seems as it is. There already is a YouTube link that is ready, and there's a live chat also. There's 0 guys from Punkin Finland that do not like it. 13 already are waiting, so that was a good thing to check. So tomorrow we'll at 11 Finnish time we'll start watching that, and maybe we could watch it and do a Finnish stream, or just concentrate on the thing. I don't know. We'll see tomorrow. What
let's see. They should be starting pretty early at our time, so we have time.
It's 11 p.m. 11 Finnish time that they start, and we are on at maybe 1:45. So we might be doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, so well, thanks for watching, and well, we're back. So we'll try to have maybe at least 1 show per week. I don't know.
Hopefully more.
Yeah, we are currently doing depends on the weeks, but 3 to 4 per week in Finnish. So it's well, maybe it's even more interesting to just translate the stuff that we do in Finnish into English, and make a news review in English of the most cancerous stuff that is happening in Finland.
Yeah, and I have a lot of footage on my channel that's interesting. If I just had the energy to start subtitling like all the demo videos, I could make short recaps on those.
Yeah.
But anyway, we were planning to just make a very short update on what we've been up to, and it's already been over an hour. So maybe it's time I don't know, heat up the sauna, go to bed.
Yes. Okay, so see you, and remember to subscribe.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
And like.